Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Duru from 122. You can find me at drduru.com/122, all one word, lowercase letters. And I wanted to take some time to talk about Swing Trade Bot and how I use it to find candidate trades, mostly swing trades, meaning trades that last a few days, a few weeks at a time. And the reason why I'm showing this is because the market has reached another one of those critical junctures. I will write about it in my blog soon, but the percentage of stocks trading above their 50-day moving averages has plunged all month. It's been dropping all month, and it's now reaching areas where the market is prone to bounce, even with the major indices breaking through their 50-day moving average support. So this is a juncture where I like to look at stocks, individual stocks that have reached their 50-day moving averages. And I will be in particular interested in those stocks that have not only touched that support, but have shown at least a little bit of buying interest. And I'm doing this video because sometimes it's just hard to describe in words what I'm looking for and how I filter good candidates from bad candidates. And Swing Trade Bot is a great platform for doing this. So let me take you through it. And I have the subscription. So some of the features I'm about to show you, you may not be able to access on the free version. But let's go ahead. I think at least my review of the charts will give you some idea of how I go about this. So from the home page, I go into research and I look for end of day scans. And I'm just going to click on all scans so you can get a flavor for all the kinds of technical scans that this platform has available. And you can see the names of them all here, all sorts of types of setups for any kind of technician that you are, you can find it here. And again, what I'm particularly interested in right now is for stocks that have tested their 50-day moving average, because if the stock market bounces back, I think these candidate stocks will be the best ones to rebound as well, or even survive any kind of further pullback in the stock market. So here's the scan, 50-day moving average support. This count here shows the number of stocks that meet the filtered version of this scan, and 368 is the unfiltered version. I like to use the filtered because I only have so much time, and I really want to focus in on some very good candidate stocks. So going in for the filtered version just helps me keep my universe tight and also focused. So I'm going to click on 106, and you can see up here, I can confirm where I am. I'm at stocks making 50-day moving average support on August 18th, which was yesterday. And you can see a list of stocks that have met that criteria. I'm not going to go through all the different categories and features here, but the most important thing I found, the thing I found very valuable, is instead of going stock by stock, maybe going to another charting platform to see what it looks like, or even popping this up here, which is sometimes useful, I like to just go to straight as charts view. This is so fantastic because, again, I'm just going to skip over all these different filtering options, but I can just very quickly just look across the landscape for candidate stocks and take a look at what's going on. So let's take an adventure on stocks that have tested 50-day moving average support. Here is Mercy. They actually, Mercury Systems actually happened to report earnings here and had an amazing rebound. So this stock is basically making a kind of a bullish reversal and potential bottom. Part of this is because they're being added, or they were moved from one index to another. Very surprising that the market reacted this way, but such is the way things go when a lot of buyers are doing things in a stock. I forgot to mention that you can look up in the upper left corner as I'm going quickly through these charts to see what stock I'm talking about. Here's the ticker symbol, and then right here is the name of the company. So Mercury looks good. It's above the 50-day moving average. If you want to buy it here, you would put a stop right below this point, a stop loss. A stop loss means that this is the point at which you'll just take your loss and move on. If the stock closes above this last high, it's in very bullish territory, and it's subject to at least rally up to this point. So Mercury Systems has a lot of great features here. And if you're a more longer term type investor, you can see this as your stop loss here, because again, like I said, this major reversal, sometimes we technicians like to call this a bullish engulfing, because the last candle has been engulfed, so to speak, is a definite bottoming pattern. And you can see that why this is also important, because in the last two earnings, the stock gapped down, buyers came right in, but they were never able to maintain momentum. So this stock is, at a very critical juncture, as I like to say. Here's a stock that made it in the news, VFS, VinFast Auto. I think it's a Vietnamese EV maker. I just pass on this kind of thing. It's just too wild. I mean, sure, if you're a huge speculator, you can jump in here and hope to catch a ride. But this, this kind of stock I'd have to keep an eye on. And I just don't want to have to be worried about a stock from minute to minute, hour to hour. So I pass on that one. Beazer Homes, a home builder. This looks promising because it tapped 50-day moving average support. And by the way, the red line is the 50-day moving average. And in case forgot to mention also in the beginning, if you don't know what a moving average is, it basically takes the last 50 days of price and just averages them. And so every day you go forward, you drop a day and you add a day, and that creates a trend line. And in this case, what I'm particularly interested in are those stocks that have upward trend lines. That means that price is tending to move upwards. So anyway, Beazer Homes is a home builder. I've written a lot about home builders. You can see it on Seeking Alpha and also on my website, drdrew.com/122. This looks interesting because buyers did bounce it off the 50-day moving average, but I don't like the fact that it gapped down to this area. So there's a lot of proof that buyers have to make around here. And on the other hand, it has filled a gap. A lot of gaps end up getting filled, and then the stock resumes in the direction that it was in before the gap. So that's also promising for this stock, that maybe the selling pressure has now finally come to an end, as everyone who got into the stock after this gap up has now exited. So anyway, that one is a soft candidate. I'm not going to put it onto my list, but I did want to take some time just to explain some of these unique and interesting technical features. Here, CEQP, not interested. There's not a lot of price range here. And it just looks like a muddled picture, even with the nice higher volume down here. And one other thing to note, these bars at the bottom are volume bars. So green means an up day, red means a down day. So I move on. ICE, or Intercontinental Exchange, I don't like this one because it broke down below the 50-day moving average before closing above it. So I move on. This looks promising. Ingersoll Rand, it dropped below, but it gapped down and then it closed up above. But you can see there's not a lot of upside here. I mean, you could play this for maybe 1.5 or 2, but that's really scalping. So I didn't put this one on my list. Just not a lot of opportunity there. I don't like DBRG because it closed down on the 50-day moving average. So again, look at the red bar. That means that the stock closed below its open. I'm passing on those automatically, so I'm going to skip through these very quickly. ELF has been making the news as a beauty platform for people who are in social media and influencers and whatnot. This looks pretty promising because, again, a gap was filled. And buyers showed up at the 50-day moving average support. My only caution is that I want to know why in the world it dropped so precipitously and plunged in the day before. If that news is dramatic enough, I would just pass on this one because there's no telling when the next wave of selling might hit. But again, I put it on the list because I do want to keep an eye on it. It could be interesting. This is another RNST. It meets the criteria. Buyers bounced off the today moving average, but the amount of points up here is not all that great. Point potential is not all that great here, so I pass. ANAB, it's a biotech stock. That's almost an automatic pass for me because these are very news driven, and at any moment some trial data or something could come in and completely whack you for a 40% loss overnight. So I try to avoid these for these swing trades because I'm not going to be investigating the fundamental story all too deeply. Constellation Brands, you should already know I won't like this one because the buyers got faded back to the 50-day moving average. This one looks ready to continue selling downward. And you can see this increasing selling momentum from these red bars stretching lower and lower. Even though it's below the lower Bollinger Band, which means it's overextended, I just don't like this kind of action. Sellers look too serious. HTHT, Chinese company, just as a principle, I avoid Chinese companies just because there's so much risk involved from all sorts of angles. I've written about this before. I won't rehash it here. Just for my own sanity, I just like to stay out of these stocks generally, unless there's an options play that looks pretty interesting. So, but for these chart scans, I'm just passing on these very quickly. So biotech stocks, Chinese stocks, and then also most financials I'm passing on right now too, because there's a lot of news risk, I think, right now for financial stocks, with all these rating downgrades that are happening. Auto home, I don't like this one. Just look at all of this churn for the last several months. This stock is just going nowhere fast. That's a quick pass. MBHC, quick pass. And hopefully you're getting sort of the hang of this. Flow serve could be an option, but again, the point potential up here is very low. And I don't like the fact that it dropped this far below 50-day moving average before barely closing above. So I'm passing. Pass on Costco. I actually have a holding in here. Just as a quick side note, I'm probably going to sell my holding because I don't like this potential double topping pattern that's unfolded in this area. Financial. Financial, pass. I think this is an insurance company or financial, pass. Global net lease. That one looks potentially interesting, but not a lot of point potential here. Amplitude. Not a lot of point potential, so I pass. So that was just the first page. There's 7 pages of this. If you think you have the gist of this, feel free to log out of this video session, but I'm going to proceed now with the rest of these scans. And again, hopefully I'm giving enough flavor that as I'm going through this faster and faster, you know what I am doing. So here's the second page. Value looks good, but it's a financial. Passing here. I'm also passing a lot of energy plays too, unless there's, again, a very compelling reason. Pass. Ooh, this one looks good. McKesson. Actually, I think I forgot to write this one down on my first pass through this. So let me make a note. Sometimes I'll pass on these stocks that have very high numerical values just because the options are more expensive or I just don't like having to buy just a few shares. It's just kind of a pain. But anyway, that one looks kind of interesting. You would want to play for at least a gap fill on McKesson. Parker Hannafin Corporation. That one looks good. And I think I forgot to write that one down on my first pass through. That's a good thing to go through this twice. Pass. It's sort of interesting, but this was a previous stock that I held and I bailed out on it, so I'm not going to go back in. Stifel, financial company, passing. This is a mess. Pass. 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 GDRX. Oh, this is such a disappointing stock. This is definitely a pass here, but I bailed out on this finally. I finally gave up on GDRX. I've written about this company as well. It looked promising, but now the competition is just too great in terms of all these people and companies moving in to provide cheap drugs to folks. It's a great movement, of course, but it's just becoming an uninvestable space. Pass. Pass. I like this one, even though the point potential is not all that great. I wrote this one down. MyTech, borderline, pass. Pass. General Electric, definite pass. I won't go into that story. Pass. Pass. And now that's page 2. Let's keep this moving. Page 3. Ooh, I love this one. I wrote this one down. ATI, love that one. Sorry, I forgot to mention. This is ARCD. TWI, pass. Pass. JP Morgan Chase, man, I'm definitely passing on that, but man, is this one on the edge of becoming bearish. Merck, pass. NBR, pass. TCOM. This actually looks interesting. I'm a little afraid of this gap. I'd want to read the news a little bit. I'm also afraid of this area here where you see this topping pattern. So the opportunity space is maybe kind of limited. This is one where I would investigate sort of the news flow and the fundamentals a little bit before making a final call. Pass, pass. URI, oh, that looks great. I love that one. FINV, Finvolution, pass. This one looks great. Infa, INFA, pass, 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 pass. And this one looks good. And also, I've been using Eventbrite a lot. This is like a quick plug for my the charity I'm VP of development for. It's a mental health charity, and I've been using Eventbrite more and more to publicize our free webinars. So check us out, rosescharity.com, if you are interested in supporting good mental health. Arvin looks kind of interesting. This one's very strong. So, it's already above the upper Bollinger Band. So I wouldn't jump into this, but I want to keep it on the list to see if there's something positive brewing. This one, I'm going to pass. And that's page 3. Now let's move even faster through these. Pass, pass. Write this one down. Yep, this one looks good. Sorry, I shouldn't say this one. JBHT looks good. Pass. Pass. Actually, no. I want to keep an eye on this one. Pager duty. PD. All right. Tandem on my list. And pass. And pass on Key Corp. That's a bank. Pass on Lam Research. It's a semiconductor equipment maker. PACCAR. Yeah, actually that one's good, but not a lot of price option in there. So I'll pass on that one. Chew Carnival. Wow, this is I'm amazed that this stock is still up this high. I'm passing on this, and just because of the space that it's in retail for cheap shoes. Flex, pass. Pass. That's a definite pass for multiple reasons. Box, pass. SNDR. That's so close, but I'm going to pass. Office Depot, definite pass. I don't like the space. EPAM, spec pass. RITM, it's a capital corporation pass. ACMR, pass. RXST, pass. All right, folks, we're getting to the end of this. NWBI, pass. Steel Dynamics, definite pass. Too much churn there. ITT looks interesting. It's on the list. GFF, not enough upside potential. RJF, oh, right. Financial, pass. TGH, I don't know what this company is. It's just, I'm putting it down on the list just because I want to learn more about what this company is, even though the point potential is pretty low. But I mean, look at this nice uptrend that's been in place so far. That just intrigues me to see what kind of business has actually been able to maintain this kind of strength. Something I hadn't heard of before. Lyft, definite pass. Align Technology, oh, it's right on the edge. Look at this. It's filled a gap. It's tested the 50-day moving average twice. This is one I might just watch just because I like watching market poetry, and this could be some interesting poetry unfolding. So I put it on the list just to keep an eye out. I may never trade it. Just because, again, of the high price points. Fast is a pass. Hollow, pass. Jones, Lang, LaSalle Incorporated. I don't like the space. I'm going to pass, even though it's right on the edge of looking attractive. Newmark Group, not enough point potential upstairs. ADT, definite pass. Don't like the space. At PLXE, pass. Car, definite pass. I won't go into the drama I've had with Avis. Gladstone, definite pass. Dow, pass. Well, I mean, if you're into the industrials and chemicals, this one actually could be of interest for you or longer term minded folks. NTRS, pass. QIPT, pass. I would have normally filtered for stocks that are 10 or above. Schneider, steel. This one is interesting just because steel is on the radar with this US steel buyout. So this one definitely goes on the list. Look at how it's been pivoting and holding on to 50-day moving average support, which means it gives you a very clear stop loss point right here at the $31 level. Pretty nice and tight. Now we have CMA, pass, CRH, pass, Nomad, pass, GII, pass, Adobe. Ooh, yeah, it's a pass. I stopped just because of the name. RPD, now, even though it's got a lot of churn back here, I do like how it's neatly bounced off the 50-day moving average and a lot of point potential to reverse this recent selling. So that one definitely goes on the list. It's very intriguing. But again, it's just a lot of churn in these last several months. So I don't expect a breakout anytime soon. Dropbox, definite pass. Tal Education Group, it's on the borderline here. I think, yep, I did put it on my list. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on it, even if I don't trade it. Axis, pass. NRG, pass. SSB, definite pass. TENB, this is an oldie but goodie. Look at this again. Fill the gap right at that 50-day moving average. It is on the list for sure. APH, Amphenol Corporation. I think this is a chemical or biotech company. If it's biotech, it's a pass. I'll have to look into this one a little bit more, but otherwise, this one looks good. Helen of Troy. I love this. I love this one. Notice that there is a huge gap waiting to be filled. So if it goes below the low on Friday, this trading day, definitely get out because that means the stock is most likely headed for this gap fill. Don't want to mess around with that. RBC, pass. WTFC, pass for multiple reasons. WES, pass. SLG, pass. WBS, pass. XPOF. Exponential Fitness. This looks kind of interesting. The past stock doesn't look great. The setup is okay, particularly if a post-earnings recovery is continuing. So it's on the borderline. I'm not putting it on my list, but if you have some other interest in this chart pattern or even the business, it's something for you to put on your list to keep an eye on. Last page, we're almost there. Hasbro. That's close, but not a lot of point potential there. UNFI, pass. AAT, pass. Vista, pass. Pass, pass. And definite passes on these two, and pass, pass, and definite pass. Again, I do not like jumping into these situations unless I know a lot about what's going on. So that is the set of charts. Again, what I did was I was doing a scan for stocks making 50-day moving average support. Now, for those of you that have stuck with me through this whole video, just some quick trading tips that I use. Again, results may vary, and you have to take into account your own trading style, your own risk tolerance and risk management, and where your head is at in terms of where the market is at. So I can't speak to where you are, but I can speak to what I do. So for these kinds of setups, what I prefer to do is see one more day of buying interest. So for all those charts I just showed you, you're seeing the first sign. What I want to see on Monday, the coming trading day, is I want to see buyers push price above the close of the previous day. And hopefully the close of the previous day is close enough to the intraday high. That's my signal to jump in. But again, because the market is overall in this negative mindset and kind of in a bearish situation, again, I'll be writing about this in my blog, I will be very careful to get out of these positions if the stock turns around and violates the 50-day moving average support. Violate meaning it trades below or even closes below. For stocks I really like, I might wait to see whether the close happens below the 50-day moving average because I don't want to be kicked out of the stock so soon. But again, it's important to have those very tight rules and know what your rules are right up front so that you don't use too much discretion and you don't allow your emotions to get the better of you and then have you sit around in a stock too long watching losses grow and grow and grow. Look, I've been there and I know how difficult, how easy it is to slip into that and how difficult it is to get out because every day you think, okay, this is the day that things will turn around and then they never do. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on my blog site, you can also put it in the comments in the blog. Subscribe to the blog. Again, it's drduru.com/122. You can also subscribe, of course, on YouTube, but I only post certain videos on YouTube. So the richest content is, again, on my blog. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and I will check you out next time. Take it easy until then.